Here is a keyword where advertisers are paying as much as $500 a click or more. Yep, that's right, not a sale, not a lead, one little click. Here's another one, $54 a click, $47, $95, and on we go. And in today's training, I'm going to show you how to take free or super cheap traffic and turn it into markets that are paying big money. What we want to do is look at what advertisers are paying and make all of our marketing point to the stuff that pays the most. This is the essence of how I've made money online for the last 26 years. And today, it's even easier. We can use AI to uncover these keywords in seconds, create content, videos, helpful resources, calculators, then point them at the thing that makes the most money, and boom, we're in business. So if you're excited to learn exactly how we turn simple little keywords that cost next to nothing, or even traffic we can get free, into big money, pay close attention, because I'm going to go through everything right here, right now. Smash that like button. Let's hop over to the live set, and I'll show you exactly how to flip the market and make money online. Come on, let's dive in. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to flip the market and understand something very important about marketing and making money online. When it comes to making money online, it's very crucial that we know exactly where the money is coming from and how it's being paid. And a lot of people don't understand, but there's a lot of advertisers out there that are paying lots and lots of money to companies like Google, even companies like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everyone like that, looking for a specific thing. And if we can understand exactly what it is they want, then we can create that almost out of thin air and create an audience that's worth a lot of money. And when I say audience, it's not like we have to be out there and go through and have ourselves on camera or anything like that. We can do this behind the scenes with text content. This is very, very important. So today, we're going to talk about why advertisers are paying $30, $60, or even $120 a click or more, and why most would-be marketers never touch that money. Let's start with something very, very simple that people ignore. These are industries where advertisers are paying $25, $50, $80, or $100 per click, not per sale, per click. What does that mean? That means you go to a search engine, you search for something. When someone searching clicks on an ad, that company is now paying for that traffic. Now, what we need to do is we need to start to understand the graduating levels of intent, right? You might have someone here just looking at the Google homepage. At that point, they are literally worth $0 and 0 cents, nothing. However, once they search something in, let's say they search, how do I find a restaurant near me, okay? Or they could find something like, what are the best restaurants that are gluten-free? Or they might find something like, you know, what do I eat gluten-free? Or how do I pay a mortgage or something like that. Every step on the ladder increases the amount of money big time. And if we understand that a lot of people and a lot of websites and AI, this is a huge thing that's going to happen in AI, however, very few people are talking about it. What happens is the intent increases, and so does the money. So if we can get something that's super, super valuable to advertisers, I don't need to be involved in selling. I don't really need to do anything other than provide content that AI helps me make and point people to things that pay lots of money. Now, understanding this is very key. We're going to go through and take a look at some of the highest paying keywords that are out there. Super important stuff. We want to know exactly what's going on. Now, some of the high profit, high cost per click niches, you'll see like debt consolidation, personal loans, credit repair, insurance, legal services, software, all these different things pay a lot of money. Now, what we want to do is we want to look behind the scenes and see exactly where that money's coming from and what we can use as an estimate. In order to do this, we're going to use a tool called SpyFu. SpyFu has a free version, and you can even sign up for the big version. It's pretty cool. I've had it for several years. Going through there and understanding that there's a lot of advertisers paying for this. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, like, okay, right now you're watching this webinar. However, if I convinced you on this webinar that you needed debt consolidation, okay, now you're here, you're watching this stuff, and you're like, okay, cool. So I'm watching Marcus learning about this. Consolidation, that says consolidation, right? If you were out there and I was able to convince you that you needed that on this webinar, I will have instantly changed your intent, and now you go read an article about debt consolidation, now it's worth more money. To show you exactly what this looks like, if I was to type debt consolidation over here into our SpyFu, you're gonna see here, once we hit search, that this keyword, let's do, I think I might have spelled it wrong, let's do debt consolidation loan maybe. I know there's one there. You kind of have to toggle it a little bit. There we go. We're seeing that this one, the advertisers are now paying $12.77 per click. So what does that mean? That means if I can get people who don't know they need debt consolidation and get them interested in debt consolidation, because obviously we want to make sure that's something that would really help them, well then I could almost go out there and create an audience from nothing that advertisers are willing to pay a lot of money for. Now, it's important that we notice here that, like, okay, you're not going to get $12.77 per click. That's probably not going to happen. However, what that tells us is that advertisers are paying a lot. So we're looking at this as like the pool of advertisers that's paying a lot of money. Now, this is something that I've been doing many years in my marketing career. I've made millions of dollars with it. This is the crux that everything relies on. I'm going to show you how to do this with social media traffic, search traffic, AI traffic, and the whole 9 yards. We're going to walk through it and show you exactly how I've done this, how I've made money, and how you can get involved in this too. It's actually very, very straightforward, very cut and dry. Now, before we go any further, I want you to notice that while I said you're not going to get the $12.77, that just tells us advertisers are paying. We want to look at this with a grain of salt and understand that this is a business. There is risk, there is reward. The vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. So we need to understand exactly what's going on, because if I could use AI to instantly increase the value of a visitor, right? You think about it for a minute, like people on Facebook that are liking your post, people that go to your website and never buy, people that are doing all these things, what can you do to get them in so that you can actually turn a profit? This is super important. This is what we need to understand, because right now, Google is making something to the tune of like $500 billion a year, and they are valued as a multi-trillion-dollar company. I think that's a million. We need some more zeros there, right? They're valued as a multi-trillion-dollar company. Why? Why are they valued as a trillion-dollar company? Well, because advertisers are paying them for the clicks that they get. So if we understand advertisers are driving the whole show. I mean, you watch the Super Bowl. What pays the athletes? What makes everything go on? We want to go through and look at that and understand exactly what's going on, because the Super Bowl, all those athletes are paid because of advertisers. Now, we were going through and looking up some stats yesterday, and the average Super Bowl ad is, I think it's like 0.4 cents per viewer, if you were to break it down into those numbers, give or take, depending on when you run it and things like that. There's all kinds of stuff like that. However, what if you were able to get them into something else? So follow with me here for a second. We're going to do a hypothetical. I want you to really understand this concept, because this is the concept that changed my life with marketing. This is everything. When we go through and we understand, okay, let's say I was gifted. Like I wake up one day and the guy who runs the Super Bowl is like, Marcus, you get a free 30-second ad. Hey, cool. So I get $8 million free, because that's what that cost, right? And he says, the only catch is you get the 30 seconds. What are you going to do with it? Okay, so I don't get cash or anything. I just get 30 seconds. Well, what am I going to do? I could go out there and I could be like, oh, I'll sell Coca-Cola. Okay, well, that's really not going to do much, because if you were to go out there and look at what soda pays, very low, 87 cents a click, probably less than that. If we were to go through and say, okay, well, maybe I could go out there and maybe do something for like Home Depot, right? Home Depot, people spend a lot of money on Home Depot or something like that. Again, you're gonna see not that much, 6 cents a click. However, if I was to go out there and say, well, what if I did home refinance loan or something like that? If I was to do a home refinance loan, now I have $29 a click. What does this tell us? This tells us that these markets pay a lot of money. If you've ever watched daytime TV and you see, okay, I'm watching Judge Judy at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, And there's all these ads for lawyers, like, oh, hey, this guy's gonna help you with a car wreck, this guy's gonna help you with this, that, or the other. Why are they doing that? It is the odds and the amount you're making. This is what so many affiliate marketers and businesses miss. They are looking at it and they're saying, well, I have this thing I wanna give to these people, let me hope they want it. What I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, well, I have all these people. So I'm starting with people first, right? That's why we look at the Super Bowl example. If you had 30 seconds during the Super Bowl, what would make you the most money right away with the least effort, not having to have an infrastructure, a business, or anything like that? And the way you would do that is by saying, what are advertisers paying a lot of money for? How can I weed them out? Out of those 130 million people who watch the Super Bowl, how many of them are homeowners? Probably about half. So you got 65 million homeowners. Of those, how many bought in the last 2 years? Probably not a ton. So out of that, most of them bought longer ago, which means they have equity, which means I can make a really good ad that says, hey, football watcher, how would you like to get cash out of your house at a low rate, or whatever it is? Obviously, you're gonna make it true, but what you're doing is you're basically taking a giant bunch of people, 130 million, you're taking the odds and saying, okay, of those, how many would be interested in home mortgage refinance? Okay, cool. Of those, how many are actually gonna go to the site and click? And I could literally have a website with info website, helpful info that you make with AI, and I can run ads on this website for mortgage stuff and get paid lots of money. How many of you guys are understanding that and you're like, wait a minute, I never thought of it like that? I've thought about blogging, I've thought about websites and Shopify and all of this other stuff, but I've never thought about flipping the market from understanding that the vast majority of people are spending money on things anyway. The vast majority of people have teeth. Ergo, they might need dental insurance. And if we go out there and we look at this and we're like, okay, well, dental insurance. Cool, this is great. If you guys are understanding this, type big keywords in the box. That way I know you're understanding, because once we understand these big keywords, you're gonna understand how we are paid. Whether it's affiliate offers, whether it's search engines, whatever it is, we are paid on the basis of advertisers. Going through, understanding all this is key. Now, once we have this and we understand, here's the high profit, high CPC niches. You can look at the Manis report. We have like all this stuff, right? You have like oil lawyers, you have truck lawyers, all this stuff here, tons and tons of things. Even TikTok advertising pays a lot of money, right? $30 or $300 a click for TikTok advertising. So think about this for a minute. How many businesses would actually benefit from TikTok advertising? Well, quite a few. Now this one here, let's do something else because I think it's not registering, but usually they will if you go through and kind of tweak these around a little. But what we're doing is we're trying to find that big money stack, right? Where's that big money stack at that these advertisers are paying for a lot of money? You could do something like social media advertising, or let's say, there you go, $10 a click for social media advertising. And again, remember, as people who are doing this, you can find businesses that will advertise on your site on a per click basis, on a like a banner ad basis, or you could do this through networks like Ezoic. Adsense sometimes does it. Just make sure that you follow all the rules with whatever platform, because you want to make sure that you're getting good people that actually want this. I don't want to go out there and just, hey, you know, everyone needs social media advertising, go over here. No. I want to go through and I want to get people who are very, very specifically looking for this thing. Because if I understand, wait a minute, this traffic is worth $10 a click. Social media advertising. What if I showed you a little prompt that would instantly uncover keywords that aren't really saying social media advertising, but they're gonna end up there, right? It's kind of like knowing where your person is gonna end up. Like if you go through and you look up like my wife yells at me all the time, or my car isn't running properly. Guy's gonna end up buying a new car. Guy's probably gonna end up in a divorce. If you know those things and you understand these are the paths that happen, you're going to understand where the money is. Case in point, years ago, I think it's still on this channel. It was back in 2014 when I went into alcohol rehab. 2014, when I got out of rehab, I asked myself one of the biggest questions of my marketing career. And I went through and I made a video. I thought I was all creative and fun and everything. And it was, but I was new to video stuff back then. And I asked myself this question. If you were to look at my search history, could you have predicted that I would become an alcoholic, or was an alcoholic, that I would need rehab? And the answer was 1,000% yes. So think about this for a minute, because if you were to go and look up that keyword, now this is a market I would highly advise not going into unless you're an expert doctor or someone who is in that field, because we want to stick to things that are easy. But I could go through and I could do something like alcohol, rehab, something like this, okay? You're gonna see this one's 47 cents a click, and sometimes they're even higher. So if you could have known before I became a $47, almost $48 click, that I would become that, how many of you guys would be like, well, that would be kind of a big deal to making money, because now I'll predict it. Now, pause for a second on that thought. Keep it in your head. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna think about how this is gonna work with AI, because AI is going to make the questions new. What does that mean? That means someone looking for help, AI is gonna walk them through things. It's gonna ask the questions. It's gonna drive to the high-paying advertisers right in there. And it's gonna drive them to high-paying websites with answers. This is important. A lot of people are missing this in the world of AI. That's why I'm bringing this training back. I used to teach this market flipper stuff back in 2013, 14, 15. Super big. Now we're bringing it back because I see a trend happening here. So if you guys want to learn more of this, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments, because what's going to happen is AI is going to change this. So now, understanding, yes, there are advertisers that pay a lot of money. Yes, if I could predict what they want, jackpot, golden. This is why companies like Yahoo, MSN, and other places like that have ads on their search engine, because if you go to MSN as your homepage and it says refinance is at an all-time low, as soon as you click that ad, you are worth more money. Super important. A lot of people miss this. Advertisers are not emotional, they're mathematical. If they're paying $60 a click, that means customers are worth anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. That's margined, there's back end, there's lifetime value. So the real question is, these are the profitable niches, or the question isn't, are there profitable niches? The question is, why are most affiliates not capturing that money? Right? You look at it. Google's literally making billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. TikTok. All these places are making a lot of money. Why? What is the difference? Why are most affiliates making pennies? Why does most traffic not convert? If these are the things you struggle with as an affiliate marketer, pay very close attention to what you're about to hear. Now, this is the problem nobody talks about. Most affiliates try to compete directly for best personal loan, if they're going in the loan market, best AI software, best insurance quote, debt consolidation loan. These are super, super competitive. If you type these into your keyword tool, you're gonna see, ain't no way you're gonna rank for them. Best personal loan, super hard. You got best AI software. That's new. AI's only been around 3 years, still pretty difficult. You're gonna see the next one, best insurance quote. Again, you might say, well, Marcus, these are long tail keywords. Like, what if I go and do a best insurance quote in Idaho for people who have cows on their house or whatever, right? You're gonna see, again, super, super competitive, or there's not enough traffic to make it worthwhile. However, thinking about that analogy I talked about where I got out of rehab and looked at my search history, luckily I'm gonna be 12 years sober this year. That's pretty cool, right? I'm excited about that. But at any rate, going through and looking at that, if you could have predicted it, why? Why could you have predicted it? Because there were certain searches I did that would lead to the conclusion that I needed. Very, very important. This is where the cost per click is high. This is where the brands dominate. This is where SEO competition is brutal. All of these words that people are going for is difficult. People come to me all the time. They're like, I'm in the weight loss niche. I'm like, weight loss isn't even a niche. It's a category. If you're going for a category, it's going to be super, super competitive. This is where beginners lose. They're trying to rank for the same keyword billion-dollar companies are bidding on. Thank you, Mr. Cool. Appreciate that. That's not a strategy. That's a fight you don't need to enter. The hidden opportunity. This is the key. Before someone searches best consolidation loan, they searched, why is my balance not going down? How does credit card interest work? What happens if I miss a payment? Before someone searches best AI CRM software, they searched, how do I automate client follow-ups? Why is my reporting taking so long? Tools to manage leads better. Once you understand that before people do this, before they buy business funding, before they search for all this stuff, you look at stuff like how to cover payroll short flow, cash flow problems in small businesses. If you start to understand cash flow problems in small businesses, get ready for an aha moment. This is going to be a big one. Cash flow problems in small business. We have this here. It's a 31, okay? I'm going to show you how this is a backdoor into a market that pays tons of money and is super competitive. Because if you can find a backdoor and you can get traffic in an easy way, educate your market. As Corey Rudel used to say, educate, inform, and sell more. We're going to say educate, inform, and advertisers will pay more. This is key because, again, we are literally making the value of a visitor worth more by understanding the backflow of what they search. So looking at something like this, cash flow problems in small business, 450 searches a month. Okay, we don't need that many. I'm going to show you why. Cash flow, small business. Okay, cash flow problems in small business, probably low, doesn't even register. If we do like cash flow problems, it might register something. Okay, a little bit more there, actually a lot more there, but I don't think that's actually that accurate. Let's stick with this one, okay? So cash flow problems in small business, 0, or even on the other was like 13 bucks. If I do something like small business loans, watch this. We literally took something that didn't even register, and now we're at $19.34 a click. So now I know, okay, business loans, like what do people with cash flow problems need? They need loans and probably some good accounting and some good business acumen, right? But going through here and understanding, yes, we have small business loans. This is our pillar. So if I go out there, how many of you guys are understanding? If I go out there and I have small business loans, and this is like $20 plus per click. The affiliate offers pay anywhere from $300 to $1,000 per sign up or lead. There's money. Okay? Think about this for a minute. Now, all I need to do is figure out how to get that traffic. How many of you guys get it? Type traffic equals money if you're like, yeah, if I could figure out how to get that traffic, problem solved. I could put away the guru course, I could work with Marcus, and I can make this happen. Because now we're seeing this is the end result value. Far too many people are like, oh, I'm going to do Shopify, I'm going to do this, and that's all fine and good. But this is the end result value. If you want something that's a line that's direct from here's the people I get to here's where they're going and how I make money, this is the best way to look at it. So going through here, if we have this small business loan, now all I need to do is get the keywords. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. These are what are called upstream searches. These are feeder markets. A feeder market, think about it like a fish tank, right? You got the fish down here. We'll try to draw some fish here. This is our fish, right? And you're here and you have the water up here and all the food is up here. These are the feeder markets. Now, some of these fish will come up and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to eat that. And they might get on the hook and go and be your fish or whatever it is, right? Going through here and understanding how this works, these feeder markets are what's going to make all the money. Because what people don't see, a lot of people are looking at the fish and they're like, oh, these fish are cool, whatever. They're not seeing up here where the money's at, right? Because no one's taught you this. No one showed you. This is how it works. This is where money's made. Going through here and understanding the feeder markets, what are they doing? What are they searching? What are these people searching when they need this stuff? Before a refinance, what do people search? Now, you can go to AI. This is why AI shines. That's why I'm going through and fixing this to where this training is now going to be brought to AI, because it changes the game. And with AI, it's going to get even bigger. When you see ads on ChatGPT, this is where it's headed. This is where the future is. So going through here, what we're going to do is we could say, before a business decides to get a small business loan, what are the types of things they might search? Okay? This is one way to do it. This can work. Going through, let's see what ChatGPT says that they search. And hopefully it'll do it quick. Interesting. Make payroll, buy equipment. So make payroll. Something like can't make payroll. Let's see what comes up here. All right, so make payroll. A little bit difficult on the searches. Let's go through even deeper. How to make payroll. How much does a payroll specialist make? How to make a payroll check. Okay, so how to make payroll, that might be people looking for like, okay, I need to like make payroll. I got to pay the payroll. Going through there, understanding that can be absolutely key. Let's try some others. Let's do buy equipment, open a second location. Okay, they might want to look at opening a second location. Let's go in here. Okay, not much there. So this is step one you can do. How to cover payroll this month. Maybe we could do this stuff. So let's type all of these in. Let's see what happens. And I want you guys to pay attention, because I'm going through this and then we're going to go through and show you exactly what's going on. Okay, so let's go to keyword analysis, keyword explorer. So we're going to go through here and I'm going to put all these keywords in. Search. Let's see what we got. So we got 430 searches a month, how to improve business cash flow. That's a pretty good one. Not a whole lot of competition there, 150 people. Don't need that much in a market that pays really well. You don't need that much traffic. Far too many people think you need 1 million visitors to make anything. That's because they're trying to, dance on TikTok rather than find the exact visitor they want. Sometimes dancing on TikTok can work, but you need the exact visitor that you want. So we could go through and look at how to improve business cash flow or something like that. Now, understanding this is key. How many of you guys right now are getting an aha moment? You're like, okay, this is making sense. I'm getting it. We have business loans. There's the big money. If we can get people to it, we're going to work. Now, why this matters is because advertisers will pay a lot of money. Again, remembering we've got to get everything dialed in a specific way. Now, advertisers are going to pay a lot of money per click, which means there's a lot of money in the market. Again, not looking at this as like, oh, you're going to get that, but understanding that signals a higher market. Now, when we go through, what we're going to do is we're going to find what they want. They want warm, high intent traffic. So there's a step there, right? There's a step. Like a guy here who's like, bro, my cash flow in my books is bad. I can't make payroll. He's actually pretty mad because he can't make payroll, right? He can't make payroll. So now he's like, okay, right now he's worth nothing. The advertiser is going to do nothing with this because all you have is a broke guy. He's broke. He can't make the payroll. However, if you are able to find something specific. So let's do a little bit of research here. Let's use our thinking caps and let's use AI and let's use our keyword tools. SpyFu is a good one. You can also look at Google Trends and other ones. Let's go through and say something like payroll loan. Interesting. A lot of people didn't know there was a payroll loan. Now we're up to $6 a click. Then we have small business loan for payroll, business payroll loans, all of these. And if we can tie them in, how many of you guys see can't make payroll, very low competition, business loans, high? Okay, even better, we have business payroll loans, all of these, okay? So we're getting a little bit warmer. How many of you guys would like and think this was very worth your time if I was able to show you how to get thousands of words of people that want the high-paying market but don't know they need it yet? This is key. So going through here, we want to understand The warm, high-intent traffic is what they want. They don't just want a guy who's broke that you think might want something else. They want something specific. But they don't control the awareness stage. What is the awareness stage? That's where people are aware of something, but don't exactly know what they need yet. You can, instead of fighting against all these competition, high cost per click and everything, we're going to build dams upstream. What does this look like? Well, downstream, let's have our river here, and our river comes down here, right? And down here is the hotel or whatever, okay, hotel, right there. Now, the hotel has a lot of money, or let's call it a bank, right? Here's the bank, and the bank has loans. So here's all this money, and they're like, we got refinance loans, and we got business loans, and we got all the loans you could think of. All right, so downstream is the loan. So going up here, the river flows, and along the way, some of this water gets lost, and it goes over here, and it goes over there, and it goes over here, and over here, right? Why? Because someone up here is in his canoe, and he's like, well, you know, I got payroll problems. And the marketers don't know what to do with him, so he ends up over here. And he's like, okay, well, you know, that didn't work out. He didn't go to the bank. No money was made. The marketer is now sad, and he wonders what's going on. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to build a dam, right? And this dam is going to take people and say, well, why does he want to struggle? Why is he struggling with payroll? Would a loan help him? Well, maybe. Okay, cool. Let's take him to the bank. Boom. Now you get paid on that. Or let's go through and say, well, maybe I could go over here and maybe his payroll's okay and he has money, he just doesn't know how to budget it. Okay, let's take him to a business accountant, right? Are you starting to see how this works? One little keyword could take you to business accountant. Nice. I hope I spelled that right. I probably did not. Even still, $7.25 a click. Our payroll word was nothing. What about something like payroll services? All right, people that do payroll services, $18 a click. How many of you guys are getting an aha moment where you're like, wait a minute, I think I'm starting to understand this. This is the crux of all marketing. You have a sales funnel. What is it? It's a dam. It is taking people and saying, okay, well, you came from a TikTok video about how to make money online. Boom, I'm going to give you this. This is the funnel. That's the dam. It's stopping them and directing them. This is the key to making money online. Once you understand that this is behind everything, now the world is your oyster. You can pick whatever keyword you want. Going out there and understanding this, I remember years ago, people would come to me and they're like, I want traffic for refinance. And I'm like, okay, I'll get you traffic. He's like, how are you gonna get me traffic? That's super, super expensive. And I'm like, watch, I'll get you traffic. And he actually found that the traffic that I got them converted better than paying for the word mortgage. Why? Because I built a dam and I got the people in the right way. We're gonna build these upstream. We're gonna intercept emotional frustration, micro problems, clarification searches, adjacent purchases. Then we guide them downstream, warm, prepared, pre-sold. It's much like if I get someone in here, right? Like you go to your doctor and he's like, oh, that thing on your foot actually is this big thing. And now you got to go to the surgeon. When you walked into the doctor, you just thought you had a thing on your foot. Now you're worth a ton of money to the surgeon. When you start to understand these, it's very, 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 very important. And I don't know, how many of you guys have been taught this stuff before? Probably not very many. We're gonna have notes over at joinmarcus.com, and we actually have a big class coming up about this. But I wanna show you the nitty gritty of what this looks like, because the flipper market insight is key. The money isn't in competing for the big term. The money is in controlling how buyers enter the market. This is why LLMs and AI is so big right now. When we start to look at that, we're like, wait a minute, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. We go through and we're like, okay, emotional entry, problem clarification, tool-based authority, comparison stage, core offer. This is the same thing I taught to a student of mine who made a tool, put it in front of people, got sales the same day. Again, going through and looking at this, we need to understand results not typically implied or guaranteed. Most people make nothing. Most people don't understand this, okay? So now we're gonna go through and look at what this looks like in practice, okay? So if we go through and we have a keyword that's $60 a click, let's say we're going through, or let's say we have payroll services or something like mortgage refinance, or something like this, okay? Big keywords, lots of money. What we're gonna do is we're gonna map 200 feeder phrases that are a lot cheaper or even free. We're gonna find less competition, more volume, and higher authority potential, better engagement. Again, remembering there's thousands and thousands of niches that pay lots and lots of money. Once we understand this, everything starts to change. More volume, higher authority potential, better engagement. Then we bridge into the expensive thing. So going through here and looking at this, let me show you how I do this, and then we'll talk to you about, different tools and things you can use as well. So going through here, you could go to like Ahrefs or something like that and just try to find keywords. You could go to ChatGPT and ask it, okay, what are words people would want? And you could just type all these lists in and see if you can find something that's good. I could go like this, boom, there we go. And now we have, okay, that's a little bit better, so 1,300 searches a month. But how to grow faster, he could want to grow tomatoes. I don't know, it could be anything. How to finance business growth, that's pretty good. I'll bet there's a lot of advertisers on that. But going through, this is the long way. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna use this prompt, which I'll have this prompt available for you guys over at joinmarcus.com. This prompt is magical when it comes to this, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this prompt and we're gonna type any niche in. I could literally go to any niche I want. So if I use Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever, I can go through and I could say, let's do web hosting, okay? And then I put this prompt in, and it's gonna go through and give me 100 keywords in a specific format that lead to web hosting. Okay, think about this for a minute. So now I can go through, I have all these things here, I can type them in, and now I can get traffic for web hosting and make content about it. Now we have a couple other prompts that work differently because you want like sideways content, you want to think about stuff different. But if I go out there and I make content on social media about 100 different tips about AI and web hosting or something like that, again, I have that big market that I'm going to, gonna funnel them all over to my website, have that dam there that's gonna lead them to what they want. How many of you guys are starting to see this and you're like, oh, this makes sense. This is different than anything I've ever seen. Because now, let's say we were to go through and use ChatGPT and you're like, okay, now get some words for web hosting, something like that, right? You would go through and be like, okay, sideways affiliate, best web hosting. Let's see what else we have, okay? So we could have how to start a blog, how to start a website. Those are pretty good. That's a decent one. However, if we use a tool like this and we get this sideways content, watch what happens to our search volume. If we go here to Keywords Explorer, you're gonna see now we have all of these words about web hosting, 1.7 million visitors a month, and some of these are like super non-competitive, right? How many of you guys are like, oh, wait a minute, like WHM? That's a server, right? CNAME record, that has to do with web hosting. All of this stuff now we can use in a very specific way and sell whatever it is we're doing. Or case in point, if you wanted to go through and do like, okay, who doesn't know they want this but would need web hosting? We could go to ChatGPT and be like, okay, now who would want, yes, we will have these prompts in personality prompts. We're gonna have a whole bunch of them, so we'll go through there. But we're actually having a class. I would check out joinmarcus.com because we're gonna have a class that is just about the flipper method. So if you guys are interested, click this red button. There's two options. You can either get it with a website where we do the work and build it with you, or you could do it where you just join the class and get the prompts and everything. These are specific prompts, so some of them might not be in the other stuff. I would highly recommend, if you guys are interested in flipping the market, use the red button, sign up for the Market Flipper class. It's gonna be very short, very to the point. It's gonna have everything in it, Q&A, replays, workbook, all kinds of stuff like that. But going through here, I could do who would want web hosting but doesn't know it yet, right? We could go through and be like, maybe blog or whatever, how to start a blog, how to make money, different things like this. Okay, that's a little off. How to get more landscaping clients, how to advertise Facebook ads for plumbers, how to launch an online course. I think it went the different way. This is why you need the prompts that we have and to go through and understand the market. Like starting a niche site, that could work. Maybe let's take a look at what that looks like. But going through here, what we're doing is we're trying to find the back door, and this one's not that great. But going through and understanding it and saying, okay, what are all the pieces to the puzzle? Now, if we can get people in different stages, like, okay, who would need web hosting? Well, I think people who are using like Wix and stuff would probably want good web hosting. So you could do like on Wix. What do people want to do on Wix? Or we should probably put this in our thing. But that actually did good. Let's get keywords of people frustrated with Wix, or other like automated hosting platforms, right? Because if we could go through here and be like, oh, they can't do an order form on Wix or whatever it is, then we can get that in a very specific way. So we have like, let's see, Wix is slow, Wix website loading. So, okay, so yeah, Wix website loading slow. That's probably a really good one to use. Same thing with internet. Internet slow, right? That's easy. Like you look at it and you're like, okay, internet slow. All right, we got $1.56. Probably not. It's probably nothing. If you go to Google, there's probably no ads there. But if we do, let's do fiber internet service. Now we have $7.24. Are you guys seeing the difference here? Again, remembering this isn't indicative of what we're going to get. It's just saying there's a lot of money in the market. And if you look at offers on Offer Vault and what they pay, they are showing, yes, this is how it works. And I've actually had a site that I did this with web hosting, and we averaged like $9 a click across a lot of traffic. I think it was like 50,000 visitors or something like that. Using this method, getting traffic in that did not cost $9, and actually we got a lot of it free. Starting to understand that is absolutely important because it's getting people in and educating them and being that dam, being that flow of how it works. Because then once you do that, you don't need to have some gigantic website. You just need a bunch of content about whatever it is, or run ads. If you don't want to do content, run ads, right? If you want traffic, pay for it. If you don't want to go and do all the social media stuff. A lot of people overlook this, but it works well. If I can get all that traffic and say, oh, we're going to help these people, then you say, okay, here's the best way to host your website in the age of AI. 1, 2, 3, you got some ads on there, put some ads down here, and really focus on the stuff that's going to help them and focus on what's going to work. And then you can even say, oh, well, maybe we could get them into dedicated server hosting. Oh, yeah, okay, if you're going to run apps and stuff, dedicated server would be good. Dedicated server hosting. Boom. Now you got this one, or let's do dedicated server. Did I spell dedicated right? I might have spelled it wrong. But what you'll see is these do fetch a lot of money. Some of the tools are kind of weird about it, like it might show in here. Yeah, see, so that shows like $2.50 a click, but it's more than that. Anything in the hosting market is way more than that. So starting to understand, like, wait a minute, this is cool. The money isn't in competing for the head term, it's in controlling how buyers enter the market. If I could go out there and find, let's say find 100 people, and I'm like, out of those 100 people, how many of them want X, Y, or Z? Out of the people that can't make their credit card payment, how many would like a credit card consolidation loan or something like that? Again, always remembering to do this ethically and good, and understanding where the market is. Because if I could go, I mean, this works with anything. I could go out there and I could say, post a bunch of stuff on Facebook about saving money, right? People do this all the time. And they're like, oh, hey, check it out. There's a coupon over at the Kohl's or whatever. There's a coupon at the Target. There's a coupon over here. And they're talking about coupons. And then you're like, you really want to save money? Go to my website and read the 15 Ways to Save Money report. That report is now packed with things that one, obviously need to help them save money, but two, tie into super expensive markets. Using AI has absolutely changed the game for this, because I could go through and be like, okay, show ways to save money that lead to high paying CPC ads. Think consolidate credit card debt. Maybe think rewards credit cards, right? Because if you can take it and say, well, save money, that's pretty generic, but I could get an audience for that. All I would have to do is post good stuff about how to save money, all right? For this market, that's not super competitive. And if I'm doing social media, that doesn't even matter anyway. All I need to do is find a following and do good content, right? So when I look at this, right, we have save money, probably gonna be not very much over here, maybe like $2 or something, right? $1.33. Again, there's probably no ads for this term, so it's probably even less than that. So if I can make a dynamite page about how to save money and really, really hit home, maybe build an opt-in list or something like that, could I then take them to all of this stuff? Well, credit card optimization, interesting. Okay, I didn't even know that was a term. Credit card optimization, nothing, okay? I like that. Why do I like that? Because that's curious. I say that on social media, they're like, whoa, what is credit card optimization? My credit cards aren't optimized. I need to go and optimize my credit cards, right? So going through here, watch the magic happen. This is why you got to join that class. You're going to love it. You just go to joinmarcus.com, you click the red button, it'll go through it. So now we have credit card optimization. So this is just one, okay? One, very cool. Step one, we got expensive clicks. Now, what if I go through and I go to ChatGPT or Manus? We'll use ChatGPT because it's a little faster than the others. Let's go through here and let's say let's start with a glossary. Make a glossary of terms related to credit card optimization with tips on how they work. Be exhaustive and find 250. First, I'm going to get this list, okay? If I make good content, a lot of people are saying, oh, faceless videos. Yeah, go make one of a guy digging dirt in ancient Egypt. Okay, that's all fine and good. It's going to be a fun video, but it's not going to lead to something that pays money. I'm going to have to get 20 million views to make 10 bucks. Whereas something like this, all of my traffic is going to be about credit card optimization. Okay, what's my website about? Credit card optimization. When they put their name and email in, what's the email list going to be about? Credit card optimization. Boom. Everything points to one simple thing. We pack that with the ads, the offers, and everything, and we're good to go. So now we have all of this here, and I can say, now just list the glossary terms in a code box, no numbers. Why do I do this? So I can just copy it to my keyword tool, just get a lay of the land of what's going on. Then I'm going to do another pass on this, which we're going to go through and get that pass, which is going to help us make good quality stuff. And if you're using one of our tools, we have a Clipter tool that'll help you do this in like a really cool way. You just click the little buttons and it'll help you understand it for your market, which is really, really cool. So now we're going to go through, I probably should have asked it for like 100, but you get the idea right here. Here you go, overdraft protection, or even overdraft fees. And a lot of people don't know this, but like recently, I think they lowered the overdraft fee amount because banks were making so much money on overdraft fees. And look, a lot of people look it up, $135. These people would do well with some kind of loan or financial consulting or something like that. Obviously, make sure it's something you know about before you talk about it, or at least learn it before you share it. But going through here, I could go through, I could just do overdraft, boom. Now we got 16,000 people, 46,000 people that are looking all this stuff up. It's not super competitive, right? You look it up, how many people in the US get an overdraft fee every year? Probably a lot. So the odds are, if I put this content out there, it'll help. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That is one keyword out of the 250 we're having ChatGPT find. Of one, rung on this entire list we're getting. Once you start to see this, it's going to change the way that you think about marketing. That's why joinmarcus.com, if you go to the red button, join this class, we're going to go through this in detail. It's going to be like a 4-hour class. We're going to walk through everything. We're going to give you lists of keywords, the whole 9 yards. Now, if you just want the prompt from this video, you could go to Join Marcus and just click on the blue button. You can get the prompt. When we're ready, we'll send it out with the notes. Now, the Market Flipper insight is that this works like crazy. Once we get these lists, now we have this going here, 250 almost, right? And we're just going to list these in the glossary terms in a code box. And then what I could start to do is think about these in terms of what would someone do, right? So this is about credit card optimization. I love this one. This is fantastic. So now, just the glossary. That's going to be our first pass. Why? I want to throw that in my keyword tool. I want to download it. I want to get the whole lay of the land. Boom, there we go. And I want to show you what this looks like in terms of people searching for these terms, because like fuel surcharges, open jaw tick, like all these things are stuff that people in this market would want. Like you didn't wake up today and be like, oh, hey, let's type these keywords in. This is only people who want this stuff, which is why you're building your dam on the lake that's interested. You're not just going to build it on any lake. You're going to make it on interested lake. So now we're going to put all these in. This is our interested lake. Let's see how many people are in our interested lake. 4.6 million a month. Now, some of them like business cards, maybe not. However, priority pass, what's that? That could be something pretty cool. So now we're going through and we're starting to see, yes, there are searches here. So we legit just found searches in a market, which is credit card optimization, which is tied to the high money stuff. Now we're finding all this traffic, 4.6 million people. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and be like, okay, now turn each glossary term into a hook for people looking to optimize credit cards and credit card debt. Boom. So what I would do is I'd be like, okay, something like this, i.e., that would be this secret debt window could save or cost you, or let's do cost you, could cost you thousands. So like that, explain 3 tips. Like that. What this can do is it's going to spit out that stuff that'll work really well, and then I can turn it into blog posts and things like that. That's how you use AI the right way to make money online. If you're trying to make money with AI, this is the real deal. It takes work. It's a business, but if you understand where money's at, I was fortunate. I learned internet marketing back in 1999 and 2000, where I started to understand this in a different way. Back then we had a paid search engine that was way before like Google AdWords and all of that. And we were able to go through and look at the go-to keyword tool, and that keyword tool would show you what certain words cost, and then we can make it work. And I did this for years. I remember there was one offer we ran in the refi niche that paid $750, wasn't even a lead. It was just like a page, right? That was their dam. My dam was getting people into that, and I was able to get people with super inexpensive traffic and some free traffic and make a lot of money with it. Understanding that's key. This tiny percentage number is secretly draining your wealth. APR is the true cost of borrowing, and most people underestimate how fast it compounds. Do you guys see how it instantly creates value? Because we're finding things based on the goal. What is it they want? Now, what are these interesting things about it, and how can we fix it? Why your everyday spending could become a long-term loan. Hey, that's pretty good. The 0% trap most people mess up. Interesting. Watch this. Balance transfer. That's going to take them into balance transfer credit card. Boom. Now we're at $23 a click. How many of you guys are like, dude, this is like one of the best trainings I've ever been on, because this is the real deal. This is how it works. And this is what advertisers pay for, and this is what is worth money. And when you start to understand that curiosity is the first stage of revenue, before someone buys, they wonder. Before someone clicks apply, they question. Before someone chooses a $2,000 solution, they feel uncertainty. And uncertainty generates search. Every question represents friction, confusion, desire, frustration, urgency. How many of you guys have talked to ChatGPT about a problem and you're led down solutions, and all of a sudden you're like, well, there's a solution I didn't think. That's a pretty good one. Now, once they put ads in there, it's going to be a different show than it is now. And we can go through and understand this is where that works. And now that a lot of sites are getting traffic from ChatGPT, you can find where you're at in the funnel and what people click in. A lot of people don't realize this, but this is as simple as going through and having a page. Like, you want to learn how this works, go to the MSN homepage. A lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, there's a bunch of annoying ads. I don't. I screenshot that thing every time I look at it. Why? Because you could increase the value of a click literally by just going through and being like, okay, let's get a bunch of people who are interested in save money. Okay, what do you want to save money on? Groceries, taxes, bills, mortgage, whatever. Instantly, if you have a one-page website, okay, I'm going to say 5 pages because you need 1 and then the other 4. Humor me. If you have this one-page website and they come in looking for save money, on this website, they are worth probably like 20 cents a click at best. Okay? Now, I could go through and I can run an affiliate offer and hope it sells. That's a little tough. If I have these buttons here, what do you want to save money on? I would bet 70%, maybe even 90% will click. I've had a click-through rate of 99%, but that's not the point. Even if only 50% click, that's fine. What we want to do is want to look at what they click on. Oh, you're interested in groceries? Good. I have a report on grocery rewards credit cards, or a toolbar that saves them money, or some kind of coupon pack, or whatever. If they're interested in taxes, I give them the tax report. Here's ways to save money on your taxes. Instantly, what's happening is each click is making the money value go up because they're raising their hand, right? It's like if I had people in a line, and here's our door, right? And they're in the line, and they enter the door, and I'm like, okay, do you own a home that you'd like to save money on? Yeah, good. Go over here. They go over here, and now they're worth more money because they're interested in saving money on a mortgage. The intent changes the value. Once you understand this, it's literally everything. Super, super important. Someone says they use MSN because you don't know about Chrome. There you go. MSN's pretty cool. I mean, it comes with the Windows, but it's good for advertising. Know everything. That's why Yahoo has their platform. Now, Google has a different method, and Google's method works better. Why does it work better? Because if you can learn from all of these things, then you can make money. Going through, Google works better because the amount of people who search on Google versus click other things is high. You go to Google, you search. That's what you do. Google knows out of sheer numbers, we're going to make a fortune. Why? Because we're a search company. We're not an ad company as far as like Yahoo. We're a search company. MSN does it different, probably because they don't have the reach, so they need to drum these up. Because think about this for a minute. You go here, you look at this search term, you say, okay, credit score. If MSN put credit score on their homepage and 1 million people a day visit MSN and they click it, that's now like 10,000 more people a day that search for credit score. So that's going to go up to 500. They manufactured value. How many of you guys get it? Type manufacture value. This is a concept that I have yet to see it taught, and I've been doing this for a long time. But once you understand manufacturing value, game over. Game over, you win, because now I can go through and do that. Now, if I wanted to do this with AI, I could go through and I can take this entire list So if I want to go through and take this list, so they're starting with 25, I can go through and I can have Manus create content for these. I can make blog posts for them. Now, why is my content going to be better? Because it's going to be specific to the credit card, the credit card optimization, okay? This is super important, and when you understand it, it's absolutely key. Because now we just manufactured a bunch of traffic. We manufactured a bunch of people searching for this. Advertisers will want it. And companies that know they can make money, like they'll just keep buying ads all day long, twice on Sunday, all the time. When we understand this, it changes everything. This is where the money starts, not at the checkout page, at the question. Everyone who bought something online today went to their homepage on the internet, whether it's on their phone or whatever, they went to their homepage. They used a browser, they probably used a search engine, and they ended up buying something. What we need to understand is that money is there. It doesn't matter really what's going on. Like, it doesn't matter if you're selling something for a penny or 500 bucks. I know a lot of gurus are like, oh, sell the expensive thing. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. I mean, if I could just get clicks, that would work really well, and I have made a lot of money just getting clicks. This creates a massive gap because AI tools can now extract thousands of question-based searches, identify intent clusters, map buyer journeys, surface micro problems, analyze keyword velocity, detect curiosity spikes. Like when you go over to the Google Trends, you can see spikes. So like on April 30th of last year, why did credit card consolidation spike? What happened? Was there a news report about it? Was there something interesting? Or maybe today you could look at mortgage. Let's do prime rate. Prime rate could be a pretty good one. We look at prime rate, spiking right now. Why? What happened? In December, they lowered the prime rate. People went and searched for it. What did that do? That literally manufactured searches. Back in 2006, I think, was it 2006? 2005, I think, is when I started it. I had the site till about 2008 before we sold it. I went through and I had a site about the prime rate. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's get the prime rate changes. I'll just update people on the prime rate. And again, look, prime rate, you go through here, like they're not looking for prime rib. They're not looking for, entertainment. They're looking for the prime rate because either they're a lender or they're gonna get a loan. And you start to see, oh, wait a minute, this is 250. Okay, so prime rate, we got 250, 41,000 searches a month. Let's go over to SpyFu. We got prime rate. All right, 62 cents. Okay, you guys ready for another aha moment? This one's gonna make you go join the course right over there. What we're doing is we're starting micro courses, very affordable, good courses to give you actionable stuff you can use right now. All right, no more big courses that you gotta wait months and years and build. This is stuff you can do right now. You sign up, you're like, okay, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna build a simple site, we're gonna get the traffic to it, we're gonna lead to the things that make money. Boom, jackpot. Again, going through and understanding how this works is key. Understanding it's a business, there's risk, there's reward. Most people make nothing. Most people never get past the starting line. They just struggle, mostly because a lot of people don't teach this stuff the right way. And, some people just don't stick with it. But going through and understanding this, that course is going to change the way you think. If I could learn one thing over again, this would be it. How to flip the market, how to understand what people want, how to understand intent online, how to understand why people want certain things and what certain things lead to other things that make money. If we look at prime rate here, okay, let's go to ChatGPT over here or whatever. Let's go to ChatGPT and we'll do a new chat and we're gonna go through. Yeah, Mr. Cool, you're gonna love that course then. That's what we're doing. We're doing a bunch of courses. If you wanna buy them all, you can do that later. But we're doing little bite-sized ones where you can go through and be like, hey, I wanna learn this one thing. And when I do that one thing and get it off the ground, maybe I'll do something else, but a lot of other gurus, they're like, hey, spend $7 and now spend $20, now spend $60,000, like the one that's shutting down right now. Video coming up about that one tomorrow. I got my own personal take on what's going on there. But again, they're out there trying to do this crazy stuff rather than just giving you something you can do. And I think it's a disservice because I've seen so many people spend so much money and they don't get any further. And then they come to my webinars and they're like, dude, I wish I would have joined your stuff like 10 years ago because you got bite-sized good things that work specific. You learn one thing, you go use it. And it's one thing that can work and get you results. It's not one thing that you need to learn another. It's one little thing. But going through here, let's see what we could do. Prime rate. People searching for this. What are the top 10 things they would want and why? And what is the likelihood it's what most of them want? Let's see what people looking up prime rate would want. So we got current prime rate today, 35%. Why would they want it? Credit cards, HELOCs, adjustable rate loans, small business loans. Do you see what we just did? HELOC is tied to the prime rate. Prime rate, 62 cents. Pretty simple traffic to get, right? I did. I had tons of traffic for this. Going through here, boom, HELOC, $11. How many of you guys are like, oh, that makes sense? Let's take the next one. We got likelihood, how the prime rate affects my loan. Okay, why did my rate, ooh, that's a good one. Why did my rate change? Interesting. I didn't even think about that one. Why did my rate change? All right, we got some searches. Why did my rate, let's do rate change. We'll just do rate change. Rate change. Okay, yep, we got to spell it right. Boom, there we go, rate change. Okay, a lot of people looking for the range, not so much what we would want. Sometimes you have to kind of dig a little bit for these. We have federal, okay, prime rate Fed. Why are they different? History, real estate buyers, refinance shoppers. Why did my APR go up? Prime 18. Oh, wow. Prime plus 18. Who's got that loan? That's a bad one. But going through, you can even do like prime plus. Prime plus rate, something like that. Okay, so prime rate today, WSG, prime interest rate. But going through there, you're going to find the things that work, and then you can find tips on all of that. Most marketers are targeting the obvious, which is why it's difficult to get into. What we're going to do is we're going to add more curiosity around the topic, and we're going to find things people want. I mean, you could do this in literally anything. You go through and you're like, okay, if I have a high market for like, okay, web hosting, what videos would people, or let's do, what would people type in before they need web hosting or something like that. Or if you go through and you look up something like divorce lawyer, okay, this is super expensive, super hard, $250 on that. Let's see what SpyFu says. Divorce lawyer, $14 a click. Okay, so if I could get people that, you know, eventually would want that, and obviously, very important that you do all this ethical and good. You want naturally people to go to the thing that they naturally would want anyway. So if I got people here and they're like, okay, you know, my marriage is on the rocks or whatever. Maybe you do something like difficult marriage or wife is nagging or something like that. Look at that. Marriage is difficult. I don't know what the ninja is. Difficult, hard time, marriage, Bible verses. Okay, interesting. Prayer for Bible, prayer for whatever. Miserable husband syndrome. Okay, there you go. Unhappy marriage. So you have unhappy marriage, stuff like that. That would connect to the other stuff. So all I would need to do is think about, okay, let's make a glossary. Let's make a glossary for people in a difficult marriage. Right? You think about this, you're like, okay, married, let's do narcissist husband or whatever, narcissist wife. You go through here, probably want to spell it right, which is why Google's going to help us with that. Let's see, did we spell it? Narcissist. There we go. Apparently MSN is going to help us, right? Wife, something like that, right? Very easy. All this stuff here, videos, all of that. Okay, you're probably going to have trouble. I mean, 50% of marriages or more end anyway. You could talk about options. Obviously, do it in a good way. You don't want to go out there and be like, hey, go and do this so that I can get paid. That's not what this is about. This is about finding something and organizing info and then giving them options, right? Like, It doesn't matter to me as a marketer if someone comes in and they have a troubled marriage. Okay, well, I could get paid on marriage counseling too. I can get paid on marriage reconciliation, and I could also get paid on divorce. It's about me going through and finding the stuff we can do. And when you do this, depending on what you're looking at, again, going through and having them click things is key. Do you think your marriage can be saved? Yes, no, boom. No takes them to a different page. Yes takes them to a different page. I mean, this isn't rocket science. You just have to go through and think about it in a different way. This is the kind of thing that I have done. I've done this on hundreds of millions of visitors. Some of them I had to learn and I struggled with, but I still was profitable, which was cool. I have a rule where I'm like, it's got to be profitable or I don't do it. Very important. But going through and looking at that and understanding, hey, wait a minute, this can absolutely work. Like maybe going through and looking at like, okay, my iPhone has too many photos on it or whatever. iPhone full. Okay, here you go. Your iPhone is full. You got 80 people, not huge, but iPhone full, okay, or like folder full or something like that. When you go through and you're like, okay, what about cloud storage? Cloud storage. Why is this so expensive? Because you buy cloud storage, it's like $1 a month for the rest of your life, and then you have to upgrade because it only has like 1 megabyte, which is enough for like one picture in 1902. But going through here and looking at that is absolutely key. When you start to understand this is about intent, and intent happens instantly, it all comes full circle what was said early on, which is this is business at the speed of thought. Thought. Now, what Bill Gates said back in '99, or even before then, business at the speed of thought, now we're seeing, wait a minute, AI is taking this a step further. To me, I believe this is the biggest opportunity online right now. Why? Because right now you have a shift. You have hundreds of millions of people using ChatGPT. You have $500 billion or whatever going through Google. You have all of this shift happening. The AI shift is going to shift advertising, much like back in the day when there was newspaper ads and then it went to TV. The people who get on the TV ads and understood how it worked made a lot of money. They made a lot. Why? They understood what was going on. This is something, if you want to make money online with AI, you need to understand this, in my opinion. I think it's super, super important. With AI, this makes it super easy. Most people miss all of this because they'll use AI to write articles, generate outlines, create content faster, but instead of using it to map markets, identify feeder streams, engineer traffic architecture, flip curiosity into back-end revenue. The real leverage isn't faster content. AI content has consumed the web. It's everywhere. A lot of it is complete and utter BS. A fraction of it's good. We can make good content with AI based on these feeder markets that will go into other stuff. And guess what's going to happen when AI starts to pick all of this up? You're going to show up in the questions alongside the ads that are paying lots of money. The big thing with Google is like, guys, if you go to Google and you search for like mortgage, right? Let's go here. Let's go mortgage, refinance. And if I go here, okay, let's see what we got. I think we're good. So we go here on Google, we have mortgage refinance. Okay, SoFi is paying money. Launchpad paying money. HomeTap paying money. Mortgage Review Guide paying money. These guys are paying money. These guys down here are press releases. They're not paying money. So literally, what is the difference here? Like a line. Like there it is. There's the invisible line. It's actually visible, but it sounds better to say invisible, right? And then down here, these guys are not paying money. These guys are also not paying money, and they're on Reddit and different things like that. Starting to understand, hey, wait a minute, like the free shows up with the paid. So if I can get the free and drive it to the paid, I'm going to make money. Pretty much. That's what I've been doing for many, many years. Obviously follow the rules and do everything ethical, but starting to understand this is what's going to broaden your horizons and help you understand exactly what's going on. The big realization is that questions are the answer. Search curiosity is the blueprint. The more people ask about something, the more potential there is to capture attention, build authority, introduce solutions, flip the traffic into high-paying offers, build a mailing list, and the whole 9 yards. AI just made the early stages visible, and visibility creates opportunity. This is the market flipper method. Now, in the market flipper workshop we're going to be having, super affordable. I want everyone to be able to take this and go and learn something solid that they can start using right away. Inside, you'll learn how to identify the high CPC profit centers. We will give you lists of the keywords, all the stuff. Like, we're just going to have a whole data dump of all this cool stuff. How to use AI to extract content clusters, kind of like what I showed you today. But there's things that would take me a lot of time to do, right? That's why we're going to have that big training. There will be notes. It'll be recorded. We're going to record it here at this office in here so that you can have a full HD and everything like that. We're going to show you how to build flipped keyword reports, map upstream buyer journeys, design feeder content hubs, bridge traffic into high-paying offers, and do all this with a very simple 5-page website, 10-page website, and then build and grow from there. This is super important. You'll see live niche breakdowns, AI-assisted keyword extraction workflows, real flip market case studies, software stacked walkthrough, and structured traffic architecture mapping. This isn't about chasing traffic, it's about engineering how markets are entered. You can go get that by going to joinmarcus.com right over here. It'll take you to the page, it'll show you exactly what's going on in that course, what you're gonna get, everything like that. You would just go down here and choose your option, super affordable, or if you want us to set it up for you, I'll go through and I'll get you one of my domains and everything, and we'll set it up and show you exactly how it works. We do this all the time. This is what a lot of people miss out on, and I'm gonna start teaching a lot more of it, starting with that class. So over at joinmarcus.com, you can get in there. You do need to get in soon because we are gonna have the live training, and you definitely wanna be there for the Q&A. If you can't, we'll answer your question, just type it in. Now, with all that, are there any questions about the market flipper method so far? I mean, we went through a lot, going through and understanding keywords, how they work, understanding the strategies, the sideways content, using different places to get each person in. We'll go ahead and take 10 or 15 minutes for questions and then go from there. Now, over at joinmarcus.com, we will also have this prompt. Okay, it's not ready yet. I'm doing a little tests on it to make it better. Like here, I see I want it a little bit better. So when it's ready, if you're on the list over at Join Marcus, you could do this here. Highly recommend you join the course, but if not, I understand. You can go there, you can get the notes. We'll have one of those prompts there for you as well. Just click the blue button if you want to get all my notes. But this is a very straightforward strategy, and it can work if you think about it the right way. It's about thinking about that market, thinking about what they want, understanding what we're going to do with them. North Star, if you want to find the notes for the lesson, you're going to go over to joinmarcus.com. You're going to click on the blue button. That'll take you here. Put your name and email in, and then boom, you'll get the notes. Okay? Now, the notes aren't ready yet. We send them when they're ready. Obviously, I'm still here talking, so the notes can't possibly be ready because the video is not over. But we'll have them ready. I have a guy who makes notes every night based on my videos. What time of day is the course? I will probably do it on either a Thursday or a Saturday. I'm not sure yet on the exact time. If it's Thursday, it'll be like 3 o'clock. If it's a Saturday, it'll probably be like noon. Okay? But yeah, it's going to be on point, and it'll be recorded, so if you can't make it, don't worry. We have a lot of people who go through our recorded courses and then maybe join a different call or whatever, and you get support and everything. Once you're in our system, it's like, okay, now you can get help. You can show up on calls and stuff like that. But really cool stuff. All right, cool. And then if you do the version with the website, you get a high-ranking domain, a good value domain. We help you with the first set of content. We give you the whole strategy for your niche specifically. We get you the first set of pins, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's stuff that would take you a long time anyway, but this is super important to understand. This is about building a business. What's the easy way to monetize this info? You're not going to monetize this info. You're going to monetize your info. So what you're going to do is you're going to find those feeder words and you're going to make content about them and lead to the stuff that makes money, right? If I go out there and I make content about, what's the best way to keep your house sturdy or whatever, right? I could go through and I can monetize that. Renee, the email should have gone out. So check with our support ticket, our support system. You can go to joinmarcus.com. Janae's on live chat now. You can probably get her. You just go to the bottom, click this button. Janae will get you that link, but we did send it out, so it might have gone to one of your filters. But yeah, she'll make sure you get it. If you go there, that's our support. You could even click the support site there too. But no, you haven't missed it. It's Saturday at 12. It's going to be a great class. Highly recommend you guys get in that Flipper one too. It's going to be the most cut and dry class. So I think you guys will really like it. And hey, it's affordable. It works. All right. Thanks for being here. If you guys need anything, check out joinmarcus.com. Click that button. Go through. Check it out. So find an affiliate offer on OfferVault first. And after signing up, get a link. No, that's not what this is about. You want to find that high-paying market first. It's about finding that high-paying market, not an offer. This has an affiliate angle to it, but it's not per se affiliate marketing in the typical sense, right? What we're doing is we're building an audience around a market that's expensive. That's what we're doing. And that's what that class is about, okay? Cool. Any other questions? We'll give you guys like a couple more minutes and go from there. But again, looking at these keywords and understanding what people want and what they're doing is literally everything. Credit score optimization, tools that pull high ads and things like that. Starting to look at that and understand what's going on. Like, could I make a tool that helps them optimize their credit cards or whatever, right? Obviously making it good and upfront, but understanding like, okay, that can tie to something that will absolutely work. But yeah. All right, guys, go on over to joinmarcus.com and we'll go from there. Have fun. We'll see you next time. And check out the links in the description too. What's the pathway to getting paid from doing this? Well, first you got to get the audience, and then there's lots of ways to get paid. You could get paid with affiliate offers. You could get paid with ads. A lot of ads would work really well with this. That's what we've done. A lot of ways. You could even find advertisers and things like that. But it's about having that setup. How does money get in your pocket? Well, I don't know about your pockets, but affiliate networks pay in different ways. So you would have to see, okay, like maybe Adsense will pay via check, or maybe this company will do this or whatever. You would want to check with each one. I think what I would do is I would go up a level and try to understand what's going on and where that market's at and what the affiliate offers are like and where you're at. Sometimes where you're at location-wise will determine how you're paid. But starting to understand that's key. What we need to do is we need to look at the reality of what's going on, right? We need to look at like, what is value online? Well, the most valuable thing online is either a big giant audience, like Facebook has, like everybody, or a specific audience. And if we have a specific audience and we can go around and find people who want stuff in different stages of the game and funnel them to the thing that's going to work for us is super, super important. So thanks for being here. Smash the like button. Check out joinmarcus.com for the notes. And if you want to join that course, if you guys got